Hey, brighten up a little bit here. That's better. Hey, good to see you all. Good to see you all. Okay, welcome to is this week 8 or week 9? This is week 8, isn't it?
I think it's week 8. Yeah.
Week 8. Okay, great. Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, everybody should, switch on their cameras. Caitlin, Chris, Chloe, Wes, Seth. All right. And I was thinking what we'll do today is I want to make sure that everybody is okay with classes and objects. But if I look at the reflections, it seems that, some of you are quite comfortable and there's a few who, you know, uh, objects are and classes are um, a step beyond what they are currently practicing. Okay, so I'm thinking what we'll do is if you have managed to progress beyond classes, um, rather than march forward with more and more things that we can do, I want to spend more time going over well, basically, we'll do the point class and things like that. Essentially, we're going to redo what we did last class, okay? Redo what we did last class. Someone else is going to code. And I'm going to choose, okay, this time, because I don't want to pick anyone who's already passed, Crow Quest or something like that. So we want to make sure that the person who codes does need the practice. Okay, so if anyone here needs a practice to code with classes, today is a great class to volunteer. Okay, so we'll actually go over exactly what we did last class. Exactly, it's not going to be exactly the same. We're going to do we'll apply lessons that we have learned in the process of implementing it last class, right? Because when we did it last class, it was just um, we went with the flow and made some changes. And along the way, we found, okay, but that doesn't look good. Maybe this is a feature that we would need later. So we'll go ahead and implement these things. So this time, what we'll do is it'll just give you more practice in actually doing a class and an object of that class. Okay. In fact, what we'll do is today, I was thinking, but before we get to all of that, okay, when we get to that, I wanted to get into Rena's program. So the one that you posted of that circle thing, right? So at some point, if you can share your screen, well, let me complete the thought about what we wanted to do today. Yeah, right. So the person who live codes today hopefully needs practice or just needs exposure to classes and objects. There will be portions of the code that you will have to code and others will talk you through it, just like Josh wanted. So there's going to be gaps. I'm not going to be talking through everything because we've already done it once, and other people will get a chance to remember what we did last class and then talk through to someone else who's trying to do the same thing. So it'll be double memory for them. Yeah. Okay. So I think that would and of course it's not going to be exactly the same. We'll do some additional stuff and hopefully we'll have something interesting to play with at the end of the class. Okay. And so that you can all take it to the next level. All right. So whenever Rena is ready, if you can share your screen, let's go into that code that you posted. Okay, on online GDB. Right. So I wanted to try a little hack. I thought, you know what? Let's actually do it in class before, we've got 5 minutes. It's only 6:05, right? Yeah, and people will probably keep joining. 6:05, maybe in 10 minutes. Okay, let's play around with this code for 10 minutes. Yeah, okay. So let's go to the place where you circle, right? If I find the place where you circle.
Just
Hey,
on it.
yeah, hang on. Peter was here. Who's it coming at here at this time? Doesn't know that daylight savings is around the corner. Because Peter that's here. No. All right. Well, actually, I was trying to get him to climb up this thing. It's really cute when he does that. All right. It's dark. Well, it's getting brighter. So, squirrels are staying up longer. Okay, yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Got distracted for a second there. Okay, thank you for your patience. All right, so go to the place where you are you're drawing the circles. You have a loop, right? You have a loop somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, I do have a loop
Okay.
in main. I made it indefinite loop because otherwise it
Yeah,
would
yeah,
just
yeah.
like,
No. We're not going to go into that level
and
of
for
detail.
some reason when you posted it, it looks like an actual circle, but when I run it, it
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. But
I'm just
well, I didn't
gonna
do anything, right? I just ran your code. Now change that 10,000. What is it? 100,000 or 10,000?
uh
I
100.
think it's 100,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just make that 10,000 instead of 100,000. Now it'll move around faster. Yeah. And I think that's the only thing I changed. I didn't change anything else.
Oh, that's super fast.
Yeah,
Well,
and
it
so
looks more like
the thing
circle when
is,
it,
because
yeah.
it's not a perfect circle, it looks like a mouse because it's jiggling around like that. Yes, because if it's a
Yeah.
perfect circle, you think that well, natural creatures are not like that. So we need that jiggle. Okay, so here's the idea I had. So in that loop, what we want to do is every 4 angle steps or 5 angle steps or something.
Professor, can I
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
interrupt you for a minute? So I just want to confirm that what we did with Rena's program, like we didn't change anything, we just made the sleep faster, so it wouldn't
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah. That's
look
it. That's it.
cut. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what I was thinking was every, let's say half, every 45, every 90 degrees, okay, every 90 degrees, move the center, because I think you have a fixed center. Yeah.
Yes, I
Right.
do.
Move the center, 50% chance up, down, left, right. Okay. So what you're going to do is you have your x1, y1 for your, or x comma y for your center, right?
Yeah, I have
And
the
then
center X and center
every
Y.
90 degrees, just do a if rand percent 2 double equals 0, right? So every 90 degrees, let's do so we want to do every 90 degrees, we want to do something. So
Am
before
I
you
doing it inside of the while loop?
inside the loop,
Mhm.
and after you do your angle adjustment and everything, yeah,
Mhm.
go to line, yeah, 100, yeah, hit enter. Oh, I see. So you just have, oh, I see. So I see. So you want to do if angle, is your angle divisible by, boy, we'll be doing floating point division here, right? Because you're using MPi.
Mhm.
So let's keep it easier. How many steps are there? How many divisions are you making of the 2 pi in your loop?
Am I in my loop? I'm not exactly divided into
How
pi.
much are you incrementing? How much are you incrementing your angle by?
By 2. Well,
By 2 degrees?
my angle by speed, and speed in my case 0.1.
0.1. Oh, just 0.1
Mhm.
radians essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you would probably have 3.14 divided by 0.1 is 31.4. You have 31.4 positions in a circle.
Yeah.
Isn't it on 2 pi? Yeah, no, you have 62. 62 positions. So yeah, 62.8 positions in that circle. Because 2 pi, yes, pi is 31.4. And then, it's that many positions. Anyway, what I was thinking was that center, every time you do half a quarter, just move the center a little bit, either this way or that way, randomly. So what I want to do is, what we want to do there is angle equals 0. You're starting with angle equals 0. Angle plus equals speed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. So this is what we'll do. You're starting with 0, right? So, so if open parentheses, and then you want to say angle divided by speed. Okay. Divided by speed.
Oops.
Let's not do it, fix. I have a much better way of doing this. Okay. I'm so sorry. Just, what you want to do instead of angle divided by speed, you're just going to do, if n%, yeah, if n% 2, n% 10, right? Every 10 iterations, right? N% 10, if n% 10 double equals 0, right? for the then part of the if statement. Yeah, enter.
Are we gonna use?
Actually, you don't even. Yeah,
I don't need them.
I think. If n%10 equals 0. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You do need the curly braces. Yeah, you need
Okay.
the big curly braces, and inside the curly brace, you're gonna do if rand, and then the whole thing should be within parentheses. If the rand. By the way, we're not doing any classes yet, okay? But whoever is going to code today, I'm thinking, maybe Alan or someone who hasn't. No, Alan has passed, the question, the class code. Mazen, you posted on. You're not confident with classes yet, right? So you should probably volunteer to code today, and we'll walk you through everything we're doing today, okay? So don't worry about this. We're just playing around with this code for about 5 or 10 minutes, and after that, we'll get into our regular class. All right. So yeah, rand %2 double equals 0. Okay, rand %2 double equals 0. Okay, all right. Now, what you're doing is you're tossing a coin, 50% chance that it's heads or tails. That's what rand %2 gives you, right?
Mhm.
Rand is generate a random number and then divide by 2, and if it's positive, or the odd or even. Okay, so what we're doing is for each for x, you're going to do rand %2 equals 0. And then you're gonna if it is if it is you never want to stay in the same place. Always you want to shift. Yeah. All right. So if then you want to say where is your point? Where is your point? Oh, center x plus plus.
Wait, is it inside if, right?
No, actually no need curly braces there, right? We'll just do if then and else. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just put that in comments, and then we'll write the same thing with ternary operator, okay? So that it'll be practice again of what we're doing, right? So yeah, rand %2 equals 0, center x, what is it? Plus plus. All right, semicolon, else. On the next line, you're going to say center x minus.
So it will move in all directions, basically. Oh, minus.
Basically, if it's if it's heads, you're going to go this way. If it's tails, you're going to go that way. Yeah, and you want to do exactly the same thing. No, anyway, on the next line, put a comment saying let's rewrite the above statement more succinctly using a ternary operator, okay? And so we're going to use a ternary operator here, and then we'll just comment out that if statement, which kind of looks bulky and ugly at that point, right? So here, and we know we're only invoking rand once, okay? Using a ternary operator, okay? No, not I-ternary. It's a ternary, or the. I think the ternary operator, TERNARY. NARY. Now, chances are everybody knows what a ternary operator is, but you probably don't know what the name of that thing is.
Yeah, I don't recognize the name at all.
Because you've been answering questions about this in the midterm and all, so everybody knows this. So here's a good chance to. This is what a ternary operator is, right? So on the next line, you're going to say center x equals, right? Now within parentheses, they're going to say rand %2 double equals 0. Yeah. And then question mark, outside of the curly brace, outside of the parentheses. Yeah. And then, it's an operator, so put spaces on both sides of the question mark. Yeah. All right. Now, you're going to say center x plus plus. No, right there on the same side, on the same line, on the same line.
I don't remember
this is
questions
how
like that on midterm.
Center x plus plus. Semicolon. No, it's semicolon. Space. I don't know. I don't think there's a semicolon, but we'll find out. Okay. And then there's colon, double colon.
Yeah, I don't know how this works, but I remember the questions, and they had a colon in them.
Colon, yeah. So, but put a space on both sides of the colon, I think, yeah. All right. Now, and it's center x minus. Now, that is a ternary operator. What that means is that evaluate the condition, a Boolean condition, a logical condition before the question mark, it'll do that. And if it's true, it's going to do the stuff before the colon. If it's false, it's going to do the stuff after the colon, which is exactly what we want to do in the other one too. Yeah. Now this assignment, taking center X and assigning it back to center X, it's actually redundant, but it's kind of ugly, and but it's a way to rewrite the 4 lines of if statements in one line.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now you can copy that entire line and do the same thing for center Y also. Now,
Okay, and can I get rid of if else?
yeah, you
then?
can comment that out. Now we just need to do a few more things. Yeah, we need n, right? So now we want to have outside of the if statement, say plus plus n. Oh, right there, you can say if n, if n, there you go. If n plus plus %10 equals 0, I think that's good. You can just put the n plus plus right there. So yeah, if n plus plus %10 equals 0. And now before your while loop or whatever that loop is, you want to say, size t n equals 0. Yeah, there you go. You can say size t n equals 0. You can put it right after the angle too, so there's no blank line. Oh, you actually got a few more declarations there, so that's okay. However you want to style it is good, right? So all right, so we got the n, and then we're going to increment n each time in the loop, and then every 10th time it's incremented, we're going to change x and y, right? So x and y both change. I mean the center change. Now the one more thing we have to do is if x ever ends up less than 0. You want to go all the way to the other end, or you can use it if x ends up less than 0, don't go, right? So that's basically what you want to do. So so on the next line, yeah, there you go, on line 113, right?
Mhm.
No, I think it's inside of the
Inside?
inside the if statement.
Okay.
Yeah. So if center x less than 0, then center x equals 0. Just you want to check to make sure that it doesn't, crazy things don't happen, right? Yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah, we forgot the parentheses. Right, so,
Oh, I did.
yeah, and then I think you want to check for the other side too. I don't know what your maximum size is, if it falls off the other side, it doesn't matter. We'll just keep it, we'll run it. I'm thinking the reason I was thinking we'll do it this way, how long? Yeah, okay, we're doing okay on time. Okay, so we 7 minutes. I think we should be able to wrap it up in 7 minutes. So the reason I thought we'll try, and I was tempted to do this, is because when I looked at that circle going fast, it looks like a mouse, and I was thinking it's a really cool mouse. But then I thought, well, you know what? One of the things we could do in class is make the center keep on shifting. So it'll look like a real mouse. It's not going in circles, but it'll actually keep moving, but it's moving in a curly line way. Now, once you've got that working, the other thing you can also do it now. You can do an srand in your main so that it just gets randoms every time. So right as soon as you start main, just call an srand. Yeah. So you can say srand open parentheses, and inside you're going to say unsigned within parentheses, within parentheses of its own. Yeah, and then you want to say time space, and then time, and then the parameter to time is null PTR. We just have to get into the habit of using this line very, very often in all our code.
Is it in srand?
Inside of
time?
it, inside of it. Yeah, space time. No, actually no comma there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Time.
Time. And then open parentheses, null PTR.
Oh.
Right, and then a semicolon at the end, and then put a blank line too. Right, so that'll make sure that we get different randoms each time. I think if you run it, we'll probably be able to see the mouse keep moving. What is it? Center X plus plus. Why is it? Oh, how come they're constants? Oh, I see, you made them constants. Yeah, you removed the constants. So they're not constants anymore. Yeah, in fact, you can put both in the same line too if you want.
It's fine.
Yeah. Great. Okay, well, it is moving. It is actually, is it moving?
It is moving, but
It is moving. Okay. Now, the thing is, what you can do is, you can stop this, you can stop this, but now you have a good intuition of how it moves. So what you can do is go into that loop, and you can, let's try it one more time, right? One more thing before we go into the real class and stop playing around. Is where is that loop? N% 10 equals 0. So, okay, I think what we want to do is, yeah, you want to do, instead of center x plus plus, you say center x plus 2, center x plus 2, right? And then that should be center x minus 2. So in fact, you're moving more, right? Yeah,
What, +2 like this?
plus 2, and that should be minus 2, and the other one is minus 2 instead of minus
Okay. Okay.
minus 2, and
So-
then that's
same for
y
y?
also just like that.
Mhm.
I was thinking, also it's every 10 iterations. Make it every 2 iterations. Make it every 2 iterations instead of 10, right? No, oh, three iterations. Yeah, instead of N%, yeah, every 3. Okay. Now I think we'll get the mouse moving around a lot.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, but now you can slow it down too. It doesn't have to be 10,000. It could be 50,000. It'll go half as fast. Yeah. Now here's a really interesting game that you can turn this into, right? What you can do is technically you can have a piece of cheese in the middle of the screen. Okay. Basically, just give random locations and you put a star there or something. That's a cheese. Okay. Maybe you can write
Mhm.
cheese near it. Okay. Cheese. Now, the game ends when the mouse has found the cheese, meaning the center X and center Y are equal to the coordinates of the cheese. Until then, so in your loop, you're going to keep checking in each iteration if the mouse has found the cheese, meaning the coordinates are the same. If it's found the cheese, you say hooray and stop. We're saying, done. Now, the thing is, 2 people can play the game at the same time, or even you can play with 2 windows at the same time with 2 online GDBs, right? And then 2 people can hit, they can start the games, and we can actually see, but they'll probably get 2 different random numbers too. They're not going to be exact millisecond match, right? And it'll be fun to find out who gets to the cheese first. And it's and you can actually theme the game and say, think of your happiest thought or think of your great memory, and then press. The speed is going to be proportional to the whatever in the Harry Potter style thing, right? And you can say, and people will actually be able to kind of relate to this game and say, hey, you know what? Let's play this again. I want to try some other memory. Okay. And you can see if it gets to the cheese first. It's actually fun. If you do manage to do it, someone should post a video saying, hey, I implemented a game. Well, also you got to fix this other thing, is leaving behind the star on the left corner. So
Mhm.
corner cases, you can figure out what's going on in here and there. And you can also
Yeah.
play around with, mouse movement, make it less, whatever it is, make it look nicer. But it actually looks kind of cool. It's actually going all over the place,
Mhm.
almost like a game. And it's less than a couple of hundred lines of code. Very nice, very nice. Thank you so much, Rena. This is what I wanted to try, and we're actually pretty good. Good on time. I was thinking 6:25, but I think this was a fun thing before. Good warm up before class starts. Is it good? Did you all enjoy this? Yeah. Thank you, Rena. Okay. Actually fun for me too. All right, great. Now, how about where is this? Mazen. Who else is hey, Chris, are you no, Chris, you're done with objects, yes? Quest number 6. Chris, are you here? Hey, guys, everybody should switch on your cameras, okay? Mazen, Seth, Ananya, Chloe, Josh, everybody, Mazen. Hey, Chris, are you which quest are you on? 6? Are you're done with 6, yes? Or are you starting to Chris? Yes,
I'm like halfway there. I haven't fully completed it yet.
but you've started number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Anyone who has anybody here not started number 6 yet? Chloe, you're done with 6, I'm pretty sure. Yeah? Chloe, where were you? Well, I don't know. Hey,
Yes,
Seth, are you here? Josh? Josh was here. I saw him before. Hey, Mazen, you actually said in your reflection that, classes and objects were kind of hard. Yes or no? Mazen, are you here? Mazen? People take off sometimes.
I'm sorry. Hi, Professor. I was having my dinner right now. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see, I see.
Uh,
Do you want a live code?
I'll,
Because it's a great opportunity for you to basically bridge the gap, what you said in your reflection, saying, you know what, I'm going to start quest number 6, but I'm not quite sure what objects are and classes are yet. Yes?
yeah.
This would be a great opportunity for you because you don't have to know anything. We'll just walk you through the code and you'll have a fun time doing this. Even if you don't know anything at all, someone is going to basically dictate every step of the way
Okay.
what you want to do, and you just have to do it. Yeah. And then you'll actually find that, you know, it is, even if you didn't actually follow it consciously, you would find that it actually did make an impression upon you. Because, you know, when you start reading about it, you'll actually reflect on all of these things. You kind of stored in your memory. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I start in like 1 minute, please?
In a minute? Yeah, no,
Sorry.
no worries. Yeah, take your time, okay? No hurry. Okay, I just want to get a commitment from you, right? Because I don't want to keep looking for the next 30 minutes. If you say you're gonna start, it's okay, even if it's like 10 minutes from now. Okay. While Mazen is getting ready, does anybody else have any questions? And we're going to do what Josh suggested, okay? Because, you know, we did the point class and so on. And also, you know, Rena has gone ahead and done all those other things. So I know there's a bunch of you who know how to work with objects. So I'm not going to dictate a whole lot of this code. I'll just put comments and we got to do these things. And then I'm just going to turn it over to you. I mean, you know, in fact, I'll just turn the laptop around and then you guys can code. Have a great time, actually. Yeah. Essentially, we just want to have fun. Okay. So the idea is to figure out a way in which you can have fun with coding, because otherwise there's actually no reason for you to learn to program. All right. All right. Okay. So here's what we want to do. Is it today's date? Is it 27th today? It is 27th. Is it 27th? It is. Okay. Oh, so go to line 2. Let's just put overall comments there. Okay. We're going to implement a couple of classes. Classes on the next line, you can say, number 1, you can say number 1, the point class, exactly the same as what we've done before, but you can actually bring to bear as things that we talked about, or ideas that you have, right? The point class, and then say capital P for point, right? Capital P, point class, capital P for point. Okay, so the point class, which essentially stores its coordinates and previous coordinates. It provides a method called, actually it provides 2 methods, I think, if I remember correctly, right? It provides 2 methods called, what was the first one called? Set point? I don't know, draw point or something like that. Yeah, I think it was, the first one was, yeah, call it draw point. No, actually, you just say draw. I think it was just draw, right? Point, yeah, draw. And then, yeah, draw. That's right. Draw. Open and close. Open and close.
Yeah, we had a set and move. So
Set and
set is going to be draw now. Yeah.
I see. We'll say draw and move. Yeah, draw and move, right? Yeah, it provides 2 methods, draw and move, right? Which can be used to set a point, to draw. Yeah. Well, yes, set a point. Yeah, set a point on the next line. You can say set a point on screen using the star character. Okay. At specified locations. I don't know if you know all that makes sense, but if it doesn't, you should let me know. Hey, Mazen, does it kind of make sense as what we're trying to do here? Okay, so the other class we'll try and maintain is on the next line, after you've got this done, okay? So, yeah, right? One more, space, right? No, number two. Number 2, right? Now, all caps, everything in caps, okay? Because it's like super important, right? Everything in caps now. You say after the point class has been implemented and tested. Okay, so on the next line, you can say, oh, now you can go lowercase again. Say a vertical line class, okay? A vertical, V line and H line classes, okay? V line and H line classes, right? Actually, there were 2 classes, not 1 class, okay? V line and H line classes. Which store which have 3 properties, which each, which store 3 properties each, which store 3 properties each, colon. Right? Actually, it's 2 properties, not 3 properties, 2 properties each, right? Colon, and then you say starting location, comma, starting location. And then within parentheses, you can say it's a point, okay? A point. Within parentheses, you can say a point. And no space there, no space.
Just point.
No. A space and then capital P point. A space, a point object, a point object, space object. Yeah, and get rid of the comma. I think, is there a comma or is just my eyes? No, there is a comma. Okay, yeah. A starting location and length, okay? Number of pixels. So for a
Yeah.
horizontal line, you're going to say, I have a class. It is a horizontal line. It contains a point, and that point tells me where the line starts, and it contains a length, how long it's going to be. That's all, okay? And so you got a class, and inside of the class, and I like this because, and I don't think we want to get any more complex than this. That's all we want to do. And you got to implement this and main to test drive these things too. When you've got that done, I want to try to do a nice little experiment with, an animation if we get to it at the end of today, okay? So we'll do that. Next class, I'm thinking we'll try and dive into search techniques. We'll try and think up some interesting problems for search techniques. But today being the last of the animations and playing around like this, well, we'll try and bring this to bear when we work with linked lists and pointers and so on and so forth. I want to get this sooner than later, right? We want to get to pointers sooner than later because at the end of the day, I was thinking past quarters, until last quarter actually, when I decided not to do the usual thing, the C++ course historically maybe just modeled after all the other courses. And so maybe in Python and Java, there's no real concept of pointers as something that needs to be taught to the students, okay? So in Python and Java, they may have other things that kind of fill up the 12 weeks. Unfortunately, historically, maybe if C++ has been modeled on the same kind of syllabus, pointers is just treated as one extra topic and maybe given 1 week or 2 weeks at the end. But if you think about it, memory access and pointers is kind of central to C++. It is like the heart of C++. And so we can't afford to learn C++ or pretend to know C++ without knowing how to manage memory. Because all of these other dances we're trying to learn now are just to prepare us to say, okay, now you're good enough with shuffling things around, we can let you deal with pointers. Because if you're not good enough shuffling things around and we let you play with fire, you'll set the whole world on fire. So that is why we have all this lead up. But at the same time, in order to master C++, already, in CS2B, if you do CS2B, it's almost all pointers from, I think, day 1 until the end. And by the way, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get, I'm not scheduled to teach CS2B next quarter. Andrew, yeah, welcome to class. I hope you're better now. You should switch on camera too, right? Yeah, but I am teaching CS2B in summer, so please do. If you plan your time, it doesn't matter. You can do it in summer. It's just that if you can do the whole load like winter in summer. because it's contracted. You have to have everything, right? Otherwise, you won't have any time for your other personal things and all, right? So you can actually do it in summer. I encourage you to do it in summer, but next quarter, in fact, enrollment has begun, okay? So enrollment, the registration has opened. For next quarter, since you're not going to be doing my 2B, I would recommend that if you're planning to continue with 2B, and I'll offer 2C also one more time before I retire, right? So if you want to continue down the track, and if you have not already done it, I highly recommend that you enroll in discrete mathematics, which, for some strange reason, discrete mathematics in CS2 at Foothill seems to have a CS2A prerequisite, or CS1A, CS3A, one of those, it's prerequisite. Because when I was in the curriculum committee, we used to, take special care of these things. But it really shouldn't, discrete math should be parallel to CS2A. But if you haven't done it, I highly recommend that you do discrete mathematics during the next quarter, and then come back to the summer quarter with CS2A. So the registration's opened, okay? So I, in fact, got a notification from Foothill. The VP I sent an email saying it's now open, and the students can go ahead. And also talk to our counselors. So if you want to make time for these things, and also if they can help you plan for summer, and make sure that you have enough time to do all of the good classes. Okay, B line and H line classes, a point object, and A length and A length. Okay, now I don't want to say anything more than that. I give you the shell of the code. Yeah. All right. So, all right, after using namespace standard, right, okay, yeah, enter. Now, I'm not going to go inside of the curly braces at all. You guys are going to do it, okay? So say class point, right? A point, okay? And then space curly brace, enter. And then put a semicolon at the very end. Okay, and in between, you can put a comment there saying to do, it's for you guys, okay? Essentially, what that means is that Mazen is going to type and someone else is going to talk Mazen through it. Is that okay with everybody? Yeah? At some point, Mazen could say, I'm tired, can I pass on to someone else, okay? And then he can tag someone else. But until you want to, as long as you want to go, Mazen, you should do this, okay? Until you feel comfortable with this. Yeah, is that okay?
Okay.
To do, all right, so class point. So one more line. No, at the end, go to the end, go to the end. And then one more enter. Right, so I say int main. Yeah, and then space curly brace. Space curly brace. I put a space before the curly brace, yeah. All right, so here, you're going to say, first do srand, right? For some, for whatever reason, we don't even know. It's the funny thing is, we don't even know if we're going to do something, some game-like experience here. But you say, throw in the srand anyway. Okay, who the hell knows? Maybe it evolves into something interesting, okay? So srand open parentheses, and then one more open parentheses, one more open parentheses, and then you say unsigned, and then right arrow, get out of the, in between the two closing parentheses, and say space, time, open parentheses, null pointer, okay? Yeah, time, open parentheses, open, null PTR, okay? Yeah, so yeah, everybody has to just get in the habit of doing this many times. Actually, I don't know why, but it's actually a good way to get variation in your programs. So, eventually you're going to be testing your programs and, generating data sets, random data sets, and to make sure that your code has good coverage and so on and so forth. In fact, yeah, it's good to get in the habit of making sure that it's called in the right place at one time, right? All right, so enter one more time. Enter one more time. One more, and then say, start a comment there. Right, now you're going to say we need a few lines. We need a few lines of experimental code to make sure that point and all its methods work as intended. Now, when you've done that, let me know. Okay, then I'll come back here and say, well, let's do the line class. Okay, line class, and again, just like that, I'm going to fill it out. leave it with some blank space for you guys to fill in and talk through and get going. All right. If you get stuck, I will absolutely sit here and help you. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah. Does it work? Right?
Okay.
Does this work? Does it work if I basically just, let you guys drive and step away from the wheel? Is that okay with you guys? Give me give me like fireworks. Yeah, I got fireworks. Okay, so give me a thumbs up. Okay, more. I need more thumbs up. Just to make sure that everybody is okay with this. Okay. All right, Seth and Chris, are you good? Ariana? All right, Andrew, Alan, Josh, Ananya, right? Okay. Okay, well, it was Josh's idea, so I don't know if he has the right to give, yeah, it is your idea. I don't think you can give anything other than a thumbs up, okay? All right, okay. Ananya, I don't know. Yeah. Ananya, are you here? Okay, anyway, so some of you are ahead in questing, okay? So you kind of get, a little bit of slack here if you're not, if you have to step out during a discussion on this, but it's going to be like super duper important when we talk about pointers and other things and linking nodes together. That is stuff that you won't even find in other maybe find in other places or in the notes or modules or things like that. So that time it will be more important for everybody too. All right, okay. All right, so that's all. Are you guys okay with this? I haven't done written a whole lot of this. But you guys should be able to fill this out.
I have a
Now,
question though.
Yeah.
Last time we used we wrote the class screen, and then we used screen
yeah, you know
objects
what? I
and-
kind of thought, yeah, exactly. But really, I thought it's just adding a level of useless complexity. And when I was thinking about it, I thought, it's really not doing the real function, teacher-student function. There's two classes and they kind of interact with each other, and it was very contrived.
Okay.
Yeah, let's not use it. Because technically it allows you to position anywhere in the screen.
Yeah.
However, I think there is a code. Maybe you can leverage this. I think it's escape square bracket 2 uppercase J semicolon. Okay, 2 uppercase J semicolon. Put a comment somewhere. Put a comment right at the top, maybe, or somewhere. Look this up and leverage if necessary. Yeah, look this up and leverage if necessary. If you see out, escape. If you see out, escape, escape, and then square bracket, and then no close square bracket, right? Okay, yeah, and 2 uppercase J, 2 uppercase J, 2 uppercase J, and semicolon. Is it? No, not JJ. It's 2, number 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
and then J, semicolon. I think if you output that, if you see out that, it'll clear the entire screen. So if you want to do something on your screen and take up the whole screen, you just send that first in your main after your SRAN, so it clears everything. Yeah. There's other kind of weird sequences you can send. Maybe even things that you can store the entire current screen, clear it, and then restore it. All of those things are available. Primitive ways of doing this, but still, still working. So it'll be kind of cool. And because it's primitive, not many people expect it. So anything you do that leverages this will actually surprise lots of expert programmers. Because, expert programmers have done this before in their life. They know what this thing is, but they've moved on and done many other things. And so they wouldn't be expecting to see something like this, something really cool. In fact, in CS2B, one of my students, Isidore actually, is one of our tutors. And one other student before that, use this cursor positioning thing to rotate a cube in 3D. It was just going. It's on Reddit somewhere on our Reddit. Okay, is it, or actually you can ask him where it is. He'll tell you. And so you can actually rotate, create 2D effects. That's kind of surprising because this is primitive dumb terminal. It'll work even on this ancient CRTs, very low things, right? So it's surprising, and that's what makes it very interesting. Anyway, that's all.
Professor, I had a question. Like, I was trying to register for discrete math, but it said like the prerequisite was not cleared. Do I need to wait for this class to end? before I can register? Or
You know, see, that is a funny thing. You need to ask, I'm sorry. Yeah, and this should not really be the case. People doing CS2A should be able to either co-enroll or be able to enroll immediately after in the next quarter, right? So you should email the dean and maybe with a copy to the vice president of instruction, not the other VPI of instruction, right? So and these two people. And you should say that, you know, in many places, they probably allow co-enrollment of these two things, CS2A in programming and discrete math, right? Because they kind of relate to each other. So this is kind of strange. Because I was in the curriculum committee, I remember fighting with this issue, and every time someone needed this, we had to get special clearance from the dean. It was a real pain. Think about it. Yeah, every time, every student who wants to do this.
for each student?
Yeah, real pain. But I think then we recommended some way to get around it. I don't know what happened after that. I kind of lost touch. But you got to figure this out. I'm pretty sure that everybody in the instructional chain was involved in this kind of thing, or maybe at least making a decision on where we need to go. So you should probably bring this up. Because everybody should seriously consider doing discrete math next quarter. Yeah. Also calculus. If you calculus all the way up to vector calculus. So one at a time. So there's 4, A, B, C, D. You should get up to vector calculus. Be comfortable with, linear algebra, matrices, and vector calculus. Yeah. And I think that will set you in very, very good space to understand how things are done. Even the state-of-the-art things today, right? So those are the important building blocks. When you have these in place, then the other things will fall in naturally. But those are the things I would recommend, okay? Since you're not going to be my students, because, the only thing I'm offering next quarter is CS2A again. So I'm offering 2 sections of CS2A. Why am I not offering 2B? I don't know. All right. But anyway, since you're not going to be my students, you can't, even if you want to. So I would say do the next best thing, which is to enroll in these things. Okay. Yeah. And also, if you look at all my recommendations, it's always like, do the math and the computer science, these kinds of things, other if not art and things like that. But not, lab sciences. Okay. Lab sciences is very slow. It takes you to the same thing, but it's very slow because you have to move atoms and you have to wait for things to move in the real world. And so it's not, it won't match the speed of your mind moving at fast. But, as you get faster and faster with these programs, at some point, you just want to go zip through and find the answer, right? And I can tell you, it's actually very painful waiting for some experiments to complete. I don't know, right? If you do a PhD, you'll probably experience this too. But sometimes it's actually very painful, very painful. You can't think of anything else until your experiment completes, right? So I don't know. These are things you'll probably, but math and computer science, okay, just do these classes, come back, and then 2B, and then do 2C also, because you have to do 2B in summer, because that is the only thing that'll give you time to do, because there's only one 2C after that, which is the fall. I don't teach 2C after that. So if you want to do 2C, then you have to do 2B. Obviously, you can do 2B with someone else too, but you can do it with me, which is in summer, and then the fall 2C. And that'll be great. It'll be absolutely fun. Okay. So I'll think up some interesting problems in the meanwhile, and even some extra credit things that might interest you and be fun to work on. Yeah. Right. So all of those things are possible. Anyway, I'm just going to leave it with you guys. I'll come back later when you ask me. And after class 2 at 8 o'clock, you guys want to talk to me. It doesn't have to be about computer science. You can ask me about anything I know, right? Anything that you think I know that you think it'll help you. No problem. You can talk to me about anything, okay? So I'm there. It's not class time after 8 p.m. So, and I'll help you if I can. All right. So just call me at any time too. I'm just going to be here. I'm just going to be behind. So I'm not in your style. I don't want to cramp your style. So you guys should just feel free to dive into this problem voraciously. Like there's an interesting thing here. Everybody's going to try and solve this. Mazen is kind enough to type in whoever, and calls the code out. I think it's going to be a great experience. So enjoy this. And hopefully this will be a good practice And next class on Thursday, we're going to try to do classes, combine it with search techniques and stuff like that. Maybe I'll think up a nice little game or something that we can do, which involves search at the same time. So that might be a fun thing to do. All right. But I think that's what we'll do. So this is the last time we're going to play with the screen and positioning things right now. For now. All right. So is that okay with you guys? I'll turn the laptop around. Is that okay? Yeah. And you can just call me. Just call me, but you have to be vocal. And also talk, keep on talking. Otherwise, I don't know if you guys have taken off. And then I'll come back. Okay. All right. Just let me know if you need me to.
Okay, so can someone guide me, please? Anyone?
Okay, you gotta start with okay, so class point. First, you gotta do the private variables. So on, yeah, private
Mm-hmm.
colon, and we will need 4 variables. So size t. We need variable x, y, then previous x, prev x, and previous y. Oh,
I don't think you need to
lowercase.
capitalize the.
Yeah, lowercase.
Oh,
And your indentation after private, delete the space and press the tab.
And-
Yeah, so it gives you 4 spaces. Tab. Yeah,
oh,
good. And then
And then
next
after
one-
this is like public, right?
yeah,
okay.
yeah, after this is public, on the same level as private. Yeah. So for public, what I have is you type point with uppercase P, because it's, yeah, point, and parameters size t x1 and size t y1. Then curly braces open. And then we assign x equals x1 and y equals y1.
okay.
Then on next line, we're gonna do 3-way assignment. So prev x equal prev y. Equal to string, 2 colons, and pause, and that's the end of the, yeah, equal.
Here?
Yeah, right there. And POS, and that's the end of the line, so semicolon.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then in public, we're staying in public, we're going to define 2 functions. So the first one, what we have is draw, I think. So Boolean, bool, draw. And I'm not sure what we're going to pass in there as a parameter because we don't have a screen class anymore. So I will assume that we're not passing anything.
Wait, is it a void or Boolean? I'm not
I have
really sure.
Boolean. I have
Okay,
Boolean, but
yeah.
someone can, also look at this stuff and talk maybe a little. Okay, so go to the next line and indentation level align to the point. Yeah, right there. So bool, draw, right? This is the first method. Yeah. I think it's empty parenthesis, honestly. Yeah, semicolon. And then for the, what is the next one? The next one is move. So, no, there's nothing inside. So just semicolon and move to the next line.
What's the next?
Move. Move, yes. And move will have parameters size tx1 and size ty1.
Okay, I'm a bit confused. So what exactly do draw and move? Like what exactly are they supposed to do?
Draw is like set, so you set a point on the screen, and move then will move it.
Okay, so In draw, don't we have to like write the asterisk
Ye-
character?
We're gonna, we, right now we're just defining the methods
Oh,
in the
okay.
class. The class has the methods, and then we're gonna exit the class block, right, module, and we're gonna define both of those functions. We're gonna define draw and we're gonna define move.
Okay.
So this
We
is just to
could
let everyone
define
know
the
that we have
functions
this.
inline.
Hmm?
We could do like an inline declaration of the functions. Like put the body of it inside of the class.
Are we? Oh. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be inside of the class, but outside of the private and public declaration of variables, right?
And then I'm saying that we can do it if we want to.
Oh, so we can, yeah, sure. Why not? Let's try it. If it's not going to work, we're just going to take it out. Like it's not Mazen, you forgot semicolon. Yeah, exactly. So does anyone want to dictate the draw method? Josh?
I think it's similar to the thing
To the
that I
set?
coded that one time. All right, let me see if I can find it.
So it's same as set, but we don't have screens, so we're not passing anything in there. Okay, I'm a little bit confused because in the set, or like in this iteration is going to be draw method, we're using the function that we wrote outside of the class set position. And I wonder if we could do it inside this time.
Yeah, I think that's what he was talking about, where when he was saying something earlier to you about making it more complicated than it needed to be.
For clarification, are the coordinates like just screen coordinates, or are they like, are we gonna make a set it up and then translate the coordinates? Because like way before, like there was the show char function. So
Yeah.
like, can we just use that, or do we have to like do something different?
It's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. We just, do you remember that line with cout /033 square
Yeah.
bracket? It's the
That's what I
same
was talking
thing.
about.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. We're just gonna it's just named differently. And we're not passing a character, we're passing for some reason we're passing just an empty string, just a white space. Okay, but the question remains, we have two methods to define for the class, and then the function that we use in the one of the methods is last class we defined it outside of all of the classes.
I think whether you do it like make it separate classes or not is more just about readability. So like if you have like a separate class, then and it has a different name, then you could just go up the page and then you'd know where to find it, then you could read what's going on instead of having everything in like a long code block. So I think it's just like a way of breaking out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the
We can
separate
definitely do
blocks
it.
are better, but
I think like the reason that they usually separate it is because like the class usually goes in the header file, and then the same name .cpp file, that's where all the functions get like actually implemented.
yeah. Should we also do a header file just for
No, I'm
fun?
saying that like the class is already in this file, so
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
point for a header file,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
also
yeah.
means that there's no point in really separating out the implementation and like
Oh, okay.
where it is
I
here
get what
now.
you're saying. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna define methods in the class, and we're also gonna define the function that is used in one of the methods also in the class. Yes, no, maybe.
I think.
Okay, let's get on with the methods. Let's do draw. Okay, and okay, let's try this. Mazen, go on the same level as the public indentation, so at the very still on line. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna do bool point. Uppercase P, point as in yeah. Double colons.
Wait, it's still inside the class. You have to put it underneath, like the closing bracket and the semicolon. You have to put it underneath that.
Oh, okay. Outside of the oh my god, curly bracket. Yeah. Then colon,
Okay.
draw.
Triple. Okay.
And we're not passing anything, I assume, right? So yeah, there's just empty open curly brackets.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna use a function that we're gonna write later, I suppose. So open curly brackets. No semicolon, curly brackets.
Okay.
And then we're gonna say set position, and we pass in X and Y as parameters.
Set dot.
Not
Wait,
dot. It's not a method. It's a function that we're gonna.
Why are we gonna make a set position?
Do you want to do it right inside? We can do it right
Because we
inside.
can just
I
do
don't know.
like the C out and then
Okay.
like
Yeah, but it's just because the oh, but wait.
isn't it one line?
It is one line. It is one line, but
Yeah.
we pass it in their column and row for where we're gonna display the.
So that would be
Okay.
the Y and the X.
Okay, let's do this. I absolutely do not mind. C out,
Mm-hmm.
left shift. Open quotes, backslash, 033,
Backslash.
033, and then the bracket. And then the close and I'm sorry, open
Open,
yeah. Don't
Okay.
close it. Another left shift. Y, I think is gonna be Y. Then another left
Okay.
shift. Then semicolon in the quotation marks. Left shift, X, left shift, uppercase H in the quotation marks. Left shift, space in the quotation marks. Left shift, flush and semicolon.
Flush. Like this?
No parentheses,
Just
flush.
flush.
Yes, just word.
Okay.
Okay, and then next line is C out.
Mhm.
Yeah, then star in quotation marks. Left shift, flush, semicolon. And then empty line, and then return true. And we are missing closing curly bracket. Yeah. Okay, so the next one is bool point move.
So to do a move, does that mean we have to like undo the draw and then do another draw?
Well, in the move, we again use the same set position that is the first line in the point draw. So we do it, then undo it, then do it with the next coordinates, and then we update coordinates.
So then we just draw like a space where we drew the star and
Yes,
right?
yes. And parameters for the move method are size tx1 and size ty1. Yeah, right there. Mhm.
Okay.
Then open the curly brackets. Okay, you can copy the first line of point draw. Mhm. And then instead of x and y, you're gonna do previous y and previous x. Mhm. Okay, and then the next line is gonna be cout.
The same.
The same, but instead of the star, it's just gonna be space.
Okay.
Mhm. Then you can copy all of this again. All two lines, yeah, that you already have in the point move, yeah. Yeah, go to line 41, press enter, insert the two lines, and you're gonna change previous y and previous x to y1 and x1.
Wait,
And in cout, you're gonna put a star instead of the empty. Yeah, Josh?
yeah, I was just thinking that I thought it was gonna be using draw again in the move function, but y1 is not the same as y.
Yeah, they are different because now we're just gonna update previous x to x and previous y to y because we pass in x1 and y1, right? Wait, what do you mean not the same as x and y? They're not supposed to be the same?
Because like in the move, it gives you y1, but if y1 was like in the class as y, then you could just call the draw function instead of like repeating it there.
Yeah, I think what we could do is pass x1, y1, and then previous x and previous y into move, and then use those four onto two different calls of draw. Then pass x1 and y1 into draw for the new one, and then previous x and previous y into draw for the space.
Okay, Wesley, can you dictate that to Mazin?
Yeah, so then
How about I tag Wesley and he can walk
I don't have a
through?
problem coding, so I don't need exercise, but that's up to you.
I mean, it's fine. I'll continue.
I
Thank you.
don't care. Or I mean, maybe it would be might be useful for somebody else to do it who if is less or need one.
Mazin, you just can nominate someone, honestly, some quiet people. Put someone on the spot, make someone very uncomfortable.
How about Ariana?
Also, can you share the code in the chat?
Yeah. Are you there, Ariana? Oh,
Okay, Wesley, continue with the. So we're going to. Where are we? Okay, we're in point move. So we want to replace the first coutts into little chunks with draw. Is that right? Wesley.
Yeah, so what I was thinking is if you go up to where you have bool and then point, then in the parentheses behind draw, you can pass in size tx and size ty. And then in move, if you want to pass in size tx, size ty1, and then also a size t previous x and size t previous y. And then and you could, if you want to, you could get rid of the code that we have in here, and then just call draw twice with those two sets of variables passed in.
Yeah, but also in point draw, the second line, cout with a star. How are we gonna
Oh,
erase
right.
the? Yeah.
So then we could do pass a third variable of a character, and then
Okay.
then for the previous we could make it a space, and then for the actual one that where we want to draw it, we could make it a star. Like,
Okay.
that's how we did it in the other one as well. So you could make it a char C, and then print, and instead of replace the star with a C. Yeah. And then when you call it in point, then inside of the draw, you want to pass, like so on line 39. Right, so then you would want to pass in x1, or, well, no, yeah, x1, comma, y1, comma, and then in single quotation marks, a star, no, yeah, exactly, the star.
Wait, is it for the first one? Are we erasing what we already draw first?
Yeah, so yes, I think I guess just because we started with x1 and y1.
Hold on. In the move function, when it gives you the new x and the new y, does that turn the existing x and y? You set those to previous x and y, because right now previous x and
Oh, yeah.
y is set to null. So instead of just passing all this in,
I think
just
we have to
set
do
the
that outside of that, right?
no, because in
we
the move functions where it gets changed.
yeah. So after those all of those coutts, we're gonna say that previous x is now x and previous y is now y, basically, right?
Yeah, maybe then we don't have to pass previous x and y in, right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, okay, yeah, you're right. Because then it would be just like we use two temporary variables and update. Do we know then how are we going to find out what the new x and y are?
Because the new x and y are given the x1 and the y1, the parameters.
And then how do we get from what I'm wondering is do we what is the method to get to the new x? Because we have to like save that somehow and pass it in there, right? Because we can't, or are we, because I think, well, I mean, we need 4 separate numbers, right?
Yeah, so like it already has an x and a y. I'm saying that in the move function, the existing x and y get turned into previous
Are they
x and
global?
y. And no, in the look at like line 21, where the point class is called, that's where the first x and y are given. So by the time move is called, there's already an existing x and y. I'm saying turn those existing x and y into the previous x and y, and in the move, it's asking for 2 more, and turn those one into the new one.
All right, then you should probably talk about how you think we should do that.
Yeah, I'm just still trying to figure it out in my head.
Okay.
I think for the first line, wait, so we gotta write something to the previous x and y, and then the draw function already goes to the previous x and y. Well, the call function, I mean, like line 31 for the draw, it's not supposed to have the x and y, but maybe we can keep the char part. Ariana, like the size tx and the size ty. And
Wait, could you explain like why we don't need the X and Y?
because the x and y are part of the class.
So like we've already defined it before.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
defined right above.
So the thing about the char is you also have to put down line 26.
Mhm.
The char C. And we can set it equal to a default. So that way if somebody calls the function and doesn't provide something, it prints the asterisk because that's what we wanted to
Mhm.
print, right?
That sounds reasonable, yeah.
So now if you just call draw, it prints an asterisk at the current x and y.
Mhm.
And then for move, so the first line of move should be, we need to print the draw, call the draw function, and then give it a space because we want to put a space at the new previous x and y.
Mhm.
And then we set the x, we set previous x equal x and previous y equal y.
Mhm.
And then x equal x1 and y equal y1. And then draw again, and it should put an asterisk at the new x and y.
Ariana, previous x equals x. Mhm. Previous y equals y. Don't forget the semicolons. Mhm. And then Josh, you said
X equals x1 and y
Mhm.
equals y1. And now we should be able to call draw.
and now draw with the
And it should
asterisk.
point.
Okay,
Well,
and
it has an asterisk by default. So you can just
oh,
put
so
draw.
just draw. Okay,
Yeah.
so smart. And get rid of all of the couts then. Oh, and also return true. The last line should be. Yeah, should we test it in main?
I have a question. So it should be double quotes or single quotes within the draw parameter?
Double? Why single?
Oh, it's a char, so it's single
Mm.
quotes.
Okay. Oh, no, we didn't put anything in the main yet. So let's just create a point, right? And then just gonna set it, draw it.
Wait, hold up. Go
Yeah.
up to like the class. I think there's a missing the bracket. Like before the bold draw. It needs to be a closing bracket before bold line 26. Before line 26. So it's line 25. There's a missing curly brace. Yeah.
Okay, going to main now. Are we good on okay. So let's do point my point. No. Well, are we using two columns or just point space my point? And where are we gonna set it? Someone scream numbers.
1 1.
1 1. No. My point and you pass 1 1 as parameters. 1, semicolon. And then my point dot draw and pass asterisk in there. And then return 0. Okay, let's see if it works. Yay! Okay, okay, that works. What is next? Is there anything else? What is the where's my...
Should we test the move function or?
Oh, yes. we definitely should. Then let's do my point, move, and pick any 2 numbers.
2, 2.
That's too close. But okay, 2, 2.
We'll see. We'll notice. Yeah, it worked.
Okay, what is else on the agenda? Where's my thing? Oh my God, V line and H line. Okay, we implemented it and tested it. So, Jesus. Is it gonna be the same V line and H line that we use? Do you guys remember when we were doing
Like in the sine graph
sine?
one?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
that one. Is it it?
It looks like it.
Because I okay, like what are the classes for?
Did he say he
Doing-
wanted us to animate it? Is it supposed to be moved?
I don't know. We can scream for the professor and ask because I honestly have no idea. Because I'm looking at the comments that I put in. Maybe I didn't type everything, but mine just says V-line and H-line classes who have 2 properties each, starting location and length.
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know. I would like to have more information on that.
I mean, maybe it's just so you like if you have a vertical and horizontal starting point and then how far it goes, then you can like print a square or a rectangle that's all stars. Like if you have a V line 3 and H line 7, then it's a 3 by 7 rectangle of stars.
Isn't it the same then as the screen
Yeah.
class that we had, but with the with the borders?
Yes. I think it would it's I mean maybe there's another fancier thing to do with it, but I think that's like
We can just
like
ask
most
honestly.
simplest thing. That's what I
All
could
right,
think.
so you have a question? You guys have a question?
Yeah, about V line and H line.
Okay, yeah.
We did the
so-
thing and it's working.
Great. I was hearing your conversation. Fantastic. I'm very happy. And I heard a lot of you chipping in. Fantastic joint work. Josh, thank you. Wesley, everybody. Ariana, you took over. Ariana, are you the one in charge of the screen now? Where's Mazen?
Mazen did a big bulk of the job and he passed to Rihanna.
Great. Hey, Mazen, are you happy and comfortable with the class structure right now? The classes and
Yeah.
objects? Yeah, so you should be able to just tackle one of these object problems on your own. And yeah, before you forget all of these things, you need to practice it, right? Maybe tonight, tomorrow, maybe even. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
great. Okay, so I'm not going to do the horizontal H line and V line, but I'll tell you what they are. The H line class essentially has a point object, which is, a point space starting point. Well, why don't I do the shell of the thing and then you can do the rest of it yourself, right? Go to line, yeah, there you go, 50 and hit enter. Yeah, one more enter. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Right? Say class, and then space.
Excuse me, should we
Yeah.
be putting all these classes in the same file?
Well, at some point you should switch this into multiple files and even, separate into header files and so on. Just someone was talking about this during the, when I was.
Yeah, that's what Josh said. That like the way to,
Yeah, you need to
handle all
organize
that.
these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. As when it starts getting complicated enough, you should try and organize these things on your own. It's actually easy to do in online GDB too, right? You just need to create a new file and put these things here. It'll group everything together and compile it for you. But for now, we'll do it in one class because it's not a whole lot of code. It's like 5 lines. Not all right. So class space H line, H, uppercase H, and then line. Yeah, you even just call it horizontal line, right? Horiz line, HORIZ underscore line. Yeah, and then space curly brace. Right, and inside, you're going to say private colon, and then unindent your private so that it lines up with the class. Right, on the next line, and enter, indent in, and say point space start. Yeah. Now, where's your point constructor? Well, you know, you're going to have a constructor here. Well, can I see your point class one more time, please? I just want to see what your constructor. Do you have a constructor? X1 comma Y1. I see. Well, we'll have to get back to this because you don't know the point, the time. Oh, you can actually set the point. You can set the point at some point. Okay, all right, okay. Great. All right. So go into right on the next line. You're gonna say size t length. Okay, semicolon, hit enter, enter, and then one more enter, and then say public and line it up with your private. Yeah, and then do the constructor, which is going to be horiz underscore line. Your point class has X and Y, yes? Okay, great. Yeah, great. All right. And then horiz line, and then you're going to say yeah, size t x1 comma size t. Oh, it has to take a point object as a parameter. Okay, all right. So you say point, yeah, open parentheses. Now, this is going to be worthy of discussion, okay? Everything we type here, even though it's like 1 or 2 lines, each one of these has got a lot of information packed into it, and you should probably dissect it and talk about it in the forums and say, hey, you know what? Here's a constructor for line, but it actually calls point inside of it. So, you know, it's a constructor that calls a constructor for another object. So it's a slightly involved concept, but it's actually super duper important to know this for C++ and CS2A also. So talk about these things in the forum, okay? Right. So where have we got? Okay, say capital point, point, space. And say start. Okay, no, you want to say start? No, you want to say point, say yeah, just say PT, all right? Horrible names, okay, but we'll say PT, point PT, comma, and then a size t length. Okay, all right. Now what we want to do is we'll put a comment on top of put a comment on top of this function itself. Yeah, all right. Start a comment there. The constructor should initialize start to the given point and length to the given. Oh, don't call it length. Okay, call it len. Okay, the parameter. No. Here you can say, yeah. Thank you, Ariana. You're yeah, anticipating what I'm thinking, so that's great. Thank you. All right, okay. All right, now we need one more method for the point. Okay, we forgot that. Just go to the point class. We have 2, right? So draw and move. You also want to have set. Okay, your set is basically set the value but not draw it. I don't know if it's kind of, the thing is, this is not designed well, okay? It's not designed thoughtfully. You should think of a much better design way of coupling these things. Also put things together in separate classes and separate files like Josh suggested. It'll actually turn out to be much nicer, and you can create more sophisticated shapes and animations too, with the power that all this thing gives you, which is really the essence of object-orientedness, right? So in object-orientedness, programming generally, what you want to do is split things away into files like Josh suggested, right? A class needs to be a file of its own, all the logic to do with it in its file. And inside the class, you have some functions that you don't want everybody else to look at. because it's more confusing. So you want them to be private to the class, all those organizational details. The point of doing that is, well, one way is to just tidy things up. The other reason is basically to free your mind up so that you can think about more consequential and interesting things. Maybe you want to think about the animation, maybe you want to think about the shading and so on and so forth, rather than having to figure out, yeah, oh my gosh, I got to do some ray tracing here and things like that. Yeah, so you can think about higher level details when the lower level details are abstracted away. But in order to abstract these things away, you need to be 100% sure that they work. And that is where real computer science comes in, because before you abstract things away and say, well, this is safe, you can use it, trust it 100% and use it, you need to get it, put it through the grind and test every corner case. That is where the greatest level of difficulty in all of the code and all of the algorithms we're going to implement, 2C and 2B, even in professional code, is finding all the places where things could go wrong and fixing them. Because most of the time, most of the programmers will be able to find some way to get things working, right? They'll work because you can find some way to get it working. But what I found distinguishes the really good programmers from the bad ones is they also find all the ways in which it cannot work, and they'll patch things up too. Stitch all these things together so it'll never not work. So and that is where a great deal of expertise goes in. And it's not expertise, it just comes through practice, because every time you try something and say, well, that's going to work, because everyone who's out of high school taught themselves programming, the first program they write, they always think, oh, we got the logic bulletproof, it's going to work. Okay, no way it's going to fail. But after failing like a couple of million times, they try to figure, okay, I've written it first, it's never going to work. There's going to be, even though I think it's going to work, it's going to fail in all these cases. And I'm going to look forward to finding all the cases where it works, because at some point, you think that it's gone so well that there's no chance it could fail, that if it actually fails, you feel that the disappointment from failing that test was actually worth the surprise of failing that test, okay, which you thought would never happen, but it actually happened and failed. It was actually worth it, the disappointment of having to fix that bug later, right? So that level of I don't know how I gotta start talking about that. Okay, all right. So this is what you got to do. So you say a bool or void or whatever it is, and say set x comma y, right? Set size t comma, and all this has got to do is simply set x and y and return, right? X1, Y1, I think we call it X1, Y1. Right? All this has to do is really set the values for those guys, and also I think set leave pre unchanged, okay, or something like that. You can decide what to do. You just set x and y, because you need that for line. When you create a line, you're going to create a point, and in that point, you're going to set the values. The point has already been set. Maybe you're going to set the values. So you got to figure this out. Do this on your own. And while you're doing this also, I'll think about it, because, I never got a chance to think about this more, just ad-libbing the code, and probably not so good. So as you code this, I'm also going to think about better ways of doing this, and maybe I'll chime in at some point. But maybe I'll think about it while I'm not looking at you guys, okay? Right? So that you can code freely. So that's all you have to do, right? So your line is your line H line, and you got to do a V line just like that too. It stores your starting point and then the length. And then you also have to have a draw method. Did we have a draw method for your line, H line? You also need to have a draw method for your line, yeah? And the draw, yeah, on your drawing, no, for your line, for your H line, horizontal line. Yeah. For public, under public, say a draw, and no, under horizontal, under the constructor. Yeah, yeah, and you say draw. Actually, it doesn't take any parameters even. You just say draw. That's it. You just have to say draw. Even the point draw should not take any parameters. Does the point draw take any parameters? Oh,
Yeah, it takes one parameter because we decided not to make set point
Yeah, this is
function.
the right way to do it. Because I remember that the way that I did it, or I dictated the code, was actually less elegant than what you've got here. Is this different from the way we did it in class?
Yeah, yeah, this is Josh's and Wes's idea to do that.
This is much better. This is the way it should have been done. I think when we did it too. Hey, thanks, Josh and Wes. Okay, because you set the point, and the draw should basically just do it. In fact, you can even take it one more level and say, just like setting the point, you should also set the character. But this is good enough. This actually looks nicer in many ways. So you set the point, set the x and y, and then your draw method takes no parameters, just draws it. Okay. In fact, you can tag the draw method as const because it doesn't change any of the values. So in fact, at the end of draw, on line 27, at the end of draw, before the semicolon, say space, and then const, the word const. Okay, and then put a comment on at the very end and say, what does the word const do in this case? Discuss in the forum. Okay, so I think another thing for you to find out and discuss in the forum. This and again, not only that, it's important for the exam. Yeah, people will be examined on this for in your final exam too, so it's worth finding out. Okay. All right, so any other questions? If you don't have any other questions, if you want to do the, you want to do the vertical line too, just like this vertical line. So you got the horizontal line and you got the vertical line. Then you can do a main test in which you draw the lines, okay, and play around. Okay, I was actually thinking we could draw the lines and do a sleep loop and do some animation, but it doesn't matter. You can play with it on your own time. In fact, what you can do, here's a challenge for you guys. You can draw a series of lines. The Rena circle went horizontally parallel to the screen, but you're going to have the circle go perpendicular to the screen like this. So in other words, you got a line and you're going to model the tip of and the line is rotating into and outside the screen like this. So the height of the line, so this distance is basically that angle sine times the r sine theta is essentially what you're calculating, and the y doesn't change at all, or the x doesn't change at all, right? So the y only changes r sine theta, and it goes like that. So you have a point going like that. If you draw a line, that line also go like that, and you can combine that with multiple lines and things like that to create some really nice, interesting animations, like a screw turning and things like that, or a turbine, a fan, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm very tempted to play around with those things. But we'll see how we go with this. Okay. But at the end of the day, I just want you guys to experiment with all of these things after class, maybe play around with this, develop versions of the code like Rena did and Caitlin did and all these other people have done. Maybe try and create your own very nice animations of these things. Yeah. It is all great fun. Now, horizontal line and vertical line. Can you guys complete this? Okay, I'm just going to be around. Okay, I'm not going to be taking off like that, but I'll think about it too. Although, you guys should easily be able to figure this out. Are you guys okay? You just got to do one more class, and you got to flesh out. You got to flesh out those things too. You got to flesh out the constructor and the draw method for those things. That's all. Okay, all the time it takes for the rest of today. Yeah, that's fine. After 8 o'clock, you can also ask me any other questions, right? Any other questions you have, concerns. Also, you can talk about those things because it won't be on class time. Do you have any questions at all for me before I just turn the laptop around? I'm not going to disappear, right? Just turn the laptop around so that you guys can code in peace.
I'm still a little bit confused about so what is the end goal? We want to be able to create a line object, horizontal, vertical, and we need to be able to draw it with a given length,
yes.
Or...
Okay. Yes. So to test your horizontal line and a vertical line, you're going to test it exactly the same way as you tested your point class. In your main, you're going to choose a random point and a random length and say, draw a horizontal line, right? Create a horizontal line with a random point and a random length, and then draw it. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the other thing, and then maybe you sleep for a few seconds and draw another line. Or maybe you want to draw the same line with space character instead. So you erase the previous line and then draw it one more time offset from it. So all of these things you can play with. But when you get to that place and start testing your line, you can also call me and I'll come by and give you more ideas to test it. The first step is to just get the line, and in your main, you just need to test them and make sure they work. So constructor, draw method for the line, and in your main, you need to make a call to make sure that, I want to start a line at 2, 2, 5 horizontal line. Can I draw it? Can I create it and draw it? Does it show up on the screen? Okay, and then draw a vertical line. Does that also show up? Maybe draw one horizontal line, sleep for a little bit, draw another horizontal line so you can have a little bit of animation showing. It's not going to be, you know, perfect animation, obviously, right? So you can do that. Then you can draw, say, I'm going to change my draw method to say, well, either draw with a star object or with a given character, like Wesley and, you know, Josh and you guys have done, right? And say, I'm going to draw a space over the same line so that it erases everything. Now I'm going to draw a star with a different line, so it looks like the line has moved, okay? So essentially, that is, you would have a move, like a draw, and you'd also have a move for a line. So you can do those things too, right? Which means you, even in your line, you have to insert previous X, previous Y, and then previous length. Okay, all the things you can play with. And as you can see, we're just pulling ideas out of thin air here. We're just pulling out ideas out of thin air. And the idea really here is that anything you want to do, you just use programming to do it. So you don't have to look at a book and find out, you know, or here's an interesting exercise to work on. No, anything you start doing, you just, you know, follow your nose and you say, hey, that's interesting, let me try that. That's interesting, let me try that. That way you'll discover a lot more things about programming in general than looking for exercises. Even, you know, if you go to Leak Code and say, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, you know, timing and that kind of skill is different from getting the intuition about the algorithm. This, I think, is more important. Just following wherever your curiosity takes you without hindrance or, you know, being bound by a particular. Yeah, sometimes I think it's useful for a teacher to say, well, you know, you spent too many hours playing with just a point. Now play with a line. It's more fun too, right? But yeah, you have a lot of time and luxury of doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to turn around and then you guys can take over. Is that okay with you guys? Yeah, give me a thumbs up and then I'll, you know, disappear from here. Great. Okay. All right. I got a few. All right. Which means, you know, so at least some of you are willing to talk through the code too. If someone else is coding, Ariana is coding, and then maybe some of you can talk through the code too. All right. Okay. I'm here. Okay. If you have any questions, hey, Reena, you guys called me. Or did your questions get answered by the way?
Yeah, we asked about V line and H line.
Okay. All right.
What
Okay.
exactly they do. Mm-hmm.
Great. All right. Do the other line too. We only did one.
Okay, Ariana, can you scroll down to the class horizontal line? Okay. Start length, draw. So now we need to define the method. Why do we have two different public methods though? Horizontal line, we'll pass in the point and length, and then draw. Josh, do you think it could be one method?
But that's a constructor.
Yeah.
Like maybe you want to declare a horizontal line without actually drawing it yet.
Mm.
So you should keep them separate.
Okay,
But the
okay,
draw
okay.
should just be a for loop of the regular draw with the only one of the X or the Y changing.
Okay, so then should we try to implement the draw?
Well, we gotta do the constructor first. It should just be start equals PT and length equals len.
Okay then.
Now in the
So
body of the horizontal line, you gotta replace the semicolon with the curly braces. And it's just start equals PT and length equals len.
okay, and then the draw is outside because it's a method. Should it be bool or void? I still don't really understand when we're using bool or void defining class methods.
Well,
Me
bool is for if you
neither.
want something to be returned true or false.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care about whether you want it true or false, like if you don't plan on doing anything with it, you can
Mhm.
just call it a void.
Okay, so in draw, do we want to? Because what if we're gonna choose the length that is out of bound? But actually, are there actual bounds there? Probably not.
Well, length is a size t, so it can't even be negative.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it would be like have to do with like not being able to print properly, but I don't think like a bool will be able to help with that.
Okay, so you're
You'll just
thinking
see on the
void?
screen. Yeah.
Okay, so line 68 and then enter and then start void horizontal line double column draw. And we're not passing anything in there. Why we're not passing anything? Shouldn't it be point and length? Are we
Well,
just
it
gonna
should
call the constructor in there? I'm tired and confused.
the point has like the starting x and y,
Mm-hmm.
and then um from there we can just like increment their x and y and make different points to draw on. Is there a way to get the x and y from a point? We might have to add that functionality.
It's a good question. We
Well, if we're gonna pass a point and we have the starting point, right? So I think for horizontal, we would increment the x value, right? And then, well, I guess we wouldn't know on what y point. Yeah, I see what
So
you're
we
saying.
gotta add get x and get y functions to the point class.
Yeah.
so we need to what you're saying is we need to make x and y accessible from the point class.
Yeah.
Okay. And there should be a way to do that.
We can do that with
It's
the
a
double colon, right?
no, I'm talking about getter functions. We gotta make like size underscore t get x, and then it returns
Yeah,
x.
and then return the x in the curly braces. Okay, so then oh, she's already in the point. Cool, Ariana. So in the under the public, yeah, right there, you're gonna say maybe one more space, but I'm not sure. Size t, get x. Mm-hmm. With the open and close parentheses. And then in next in the curly brackets, return x. Oh no, on the same line, on the same line. Yeah. And just move that semicolon. Yeah, and the closing one just on the same line. So it's yeah, and the same thing for the y. Okay, so now we have access to x and y. And we needed to for the start point. Okay, how are we gonna do draw? Come on, guys. Don't
Okay,
leave me
so for
hanging.
draw, we
Mhm.
need, I guess, well, I think the so we need a local variable x and a local variable y, and we can set it to the x and y of the starting point. So size
Okay.
t x equals what's the name of the starting point? Start dot get x. Well, no, in the body of the draw function. Like 970.
Yeah. Oh, on the you already started on 72. There's the definition of the method. Mhm. What was it?
X equals start dot get x. And then the same thing for y. And then we can do a for loop from I equals 0 to I equals length.
Equals or less than length?
Less than,
Because I'm not sure.
yeah, it's less than.
Then I plus plus. Are we gonna do the same thing with the draw, like the see out and you know, the
Yeah.
what is it?
I think
My
you can
English is
just
not
like
Englishing. Just copy a line, basically, from
do a
the
point P and then the parentheses. I think we're incrementing the x, so it'll be x plus I comma y. And then semicolon, and then P dot draw. I think that should be it.
okay, test. Oh no, we need to go to main and actually create the object of the horizontal line class. So let's say horizontal line, call it my line, because we are very original in this class. Okay, so now we need to, do we need to create a point to should we create a point before we create the line?
Yeah, the my
so we can
point.
pass? Oh,
We can
okay,
use my point.
cool. So open parenthesis, pass there my point and choose any length, like, but somewhat sizable, at least 10 maybe. Yeah, let's see if it works. Oh, there's a comma after size T on line 29. Yep, you got it. Okay. No declaration matchable point char. Line 35. What's wrong with line 35? Can anyone see?
I think you need to put the equals into the and single quotes asterisks. Because I think 935 needs to match 927. And it has to be const too, I think.
Oh. Okay, maybe what? Okay, so we already have a default parameter, so it doesn't want us to use it again.
Yeah, I guess I'll remove the equals single quotes asterisk.
And maybe remove const as well, and
Well,
let's
I think because
do.
it wasn't working without the
Oh,
const, so try with
okay,
just the
okay.
const.
Fair enough. Okay. No type. Do we use any type for draw? what you would define?
We need to make it void
Wasn't it void? Which draw?
in the
Wait.
horizontal, because that's line 67.
Oh. So we need to get rid of the.
No, we need
Oh,
to add
oh,
void
oh,
to
oh,
line
yeah, yeah, yeah,
67.
yeah. 67 before the drop would void. Okay, run it again. And we're missing semicolon on 60. Yeah, we got it. No matching function call. So are we missing the 62? Can you run it again? Okay. Point. Oh, we're out of time, Professor.
Yeah, what happened?
We have an error.
What does it say?
It says no matching function for call to point.
Oh, I see. Wait, so sure. So what line is it?
62.
Go to line 62. Oh, yes, of course. Okay, yeah, so that's because it says that because the point does not have a default constructor. So go to the point class, Yeah. So you see the first constructor you gave for point is basically a constructor that takes two parameters, x1 and y1. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now if you didn't do that, so this is a subtlety that many people tend to miss, and it's probably not emphasized in the textbook, but it's actually important. If you didn't give it a constructor that takes two parameters, this is what you have is a non-default constructor. A default constructor means point, no parameters, bam, like that. Okay. So give me a point. That's a default constructor. But you didn't do that. We actually gave it a non-default constructor. It takes two parameters. Now, if you did that, constructor will not, the compiler, this online GDB compiler will not give you a freebie default constructor. Okay. Now, if you didn't do that, you would have got the freebie constructor. Now, since you did that, we didn't get a freebie one. So let's do the freebie ourselves. Go to the line, go to the end of line 20 and hit enter. Go to the end of line 20, hit enter. Right? All right, enter. And then tab in. Now we're going to define the default constructor. Okay, so just say point. The default constructor is essentially just a constructor that doesn't take any parameters. That's all. So open, close. Yeah. And then, curly brace. And then you can say x equals npos, right? X equals string colon npos. Now, I think that you probably didn't use string colon npos elsewhere.
Double colon?
NPOS. Yeah, and then you also want to do, for y. You do it for y also. Right. In fact, what you should do is x equals y equals prev equals prev y equals everything is npos, right? So just do it on one line. Yeah, x equals y equals prev equals previous y equals. Yeah, and a string colon npos, and you can get rid of the previous lines. All right. Now, what it does is if I just say, give me a point and don't tell it the two parameters, then it'll call this guy. Okay, this is called the default constructor. So put a comment there. Yeah, put a comment at the end of line 21. Yeah, there, that too, that's fine. Right. So this is the default constructor. Do some research. Just Google around, you'll find it. Right. On the difference between the default and the non-default constructors. And when the compiler gives you the default constructor for free, okay? So these are things to know. These are not things to be tested, right? So you won't find the final exam or something that tests you saying, hey, when you get the default constructor for free, right? Look at this code. Why did you get a point error, all right? You won't find that kind of question in the exam. But if you're actually been developing out there for a little bit of time, it's one of the first things you're going to run into anyway. So, then you find, the compiler doesn't give you a freebie default constructor because you gave it a default, non-default constructor.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If we on line 26 said size tx1 equals string double colon n pause, and then y1 equals double colon string double colon n pause, would that then become a default constructor?
No.
Because- no.
No, so that wouldn't, the reason why it's not a default constructor is because the signature of the constructor, the constructor, the signature, the constructor signature itself takes 2 points, two numbers, yes? So when you say, give me a point, open parentheses, 4,5, that's not a default call. But when you say, give me a point, bam, like that, no parameters, that's a default call.
I was thinking if the parameters had values assigned to them, like, you
But
know,
no,
like,
but yeah, it'll still be called with 2 numbers inside the parentheses, yeah?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what defines, well, the number of parameters. If it's the 0 parameters, then it's a default parameter, the default constructor. Okay, now if you go back to that code, let's make sure that everything else is okay. So you got the default constructor as a string end pose, all right, horizontal line, start equals, yeah, the pt, all right. Yeah, okay. So where was the error? Error was on 62. PT.
Yeah, it was right there.
Oh, no, why that shouldn't have resulted in an error. Run it one more time. Run it one more time. Let's go on. Let's look at the next one. 75. What is 75?
Yeah, that's how we define the
Yeah, what does it say? Variable.
a variable of field draw declared void.
Can you hit command plus one more time, Ariana, please? The font is a bit too small for me. Thank you so much. That is fantastic. All right. What does it say? A variable of field draw declared void. Oh, I see. Oh, and there's no parentheses after the draw, so it doesn't know whether it's a method or not.
Oh,
Yeah. What else? Anything else? All right. What's the next one?
looks like we're missing curly brace.
Just compile it one more
somewhere.
time. Yeah, just compile it one more time. Oh, where is it? Which line is it?
Oh, did
Yeah.
we not pass it in there?
No, it's length, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
is it length or length?
I think it
You know,
was
one of the
length.
ways in which, yeah, all right, here's one way we can make it clearer. Okay, so size t I equals 0, and there it's and say I is less than you say this arrow length. Okay, this arrow length. That makes it very clear that length is not some random parameter. It is the length thing that is attached inside this object. It's, you can use, but even if you leave it out, if there's no other match, the compiler will say, okay, that length is this arrow length. No, not this arrow. This arrow means dash greater than. Oh, that is so funny. Okay, dash greater than. And no space on either side because it's an operator that kind of sticks this. Yeah. Right. So this is, you can, again, another thing that you can do a little bit of research and share your findings in the forum. Say, what is this thing, right? What is this, right? What is this arrow? What the hell is that? When do we use it? And it actually is useful. And sometimes when you have a parameter that's comes in, which is the same as one of your member variables, you can say this arrow member name equals that parameter. I actually don't prefer that. Okay, I think it just introduces more code confusion by using this to disambiguate. I prefer just using underscore or different, name altogether. But different programmers vary in their tastes. Okay, so see how it goes. Now this should when you compile this should.
Oh.
All right. So something happened. It compiled okay, but it certainly is not printing the whole line.
Oh, because we didn't show us the draw again, please.
Oh, you didn't
Ariana.
call the draw for a line. Oh, you didn't.
We didn't write it properly.
You have this, yes?
Yeah, but don't we use the draw from the point? Like, where's the?
Oh,
Yeah.
in fact, here, I heard someone say get X and get Y for point. Who said that? Was it Wes or
It was
I
Josh.
did.
Yes. Okay. All right. So, in fact, do you have that here? Start get X. Do you have get X and get Y there? Can you have
Yeah. Yeah.
define them?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Fantastic. All right. So go to your draw method. Go to your draw method now. You don't need to create a new point. Well, you have the start and then you know the length, right? So all you need to do is essentially hit enter on line 78. Hit on line 78, hit enter. Right? Now first, start a comment. And the comment says, first position the cursor at point. First position the cursor at point. All right, enter. Yeah. And then C out, left shift. And then you say, as is 033, whatever that is. Yeah.
Backslash, it's so in quotation marks, /033 opening, square bracket, and then what, left shift again? And then what do we want? X and Y?
No, left shift should go outside, yeah. And then you want X, I think, yeah? Row and then column at the end. And then left shift. And then
There's a
semicolon.
semicolon in the, yeah.
Oh, I see, yeah.
No, you got it, yeah, you got it.
All right, okay. And then left shift, is it an H, capital H?
A
Yes,
normal
but
colon, not a semicolon.
do we need Y in there as well? Y first and then H?
Oh,
and
yeah,
then-
Y and then capital H. Y and capital H. Yeah, Y and then capital H, yes?
Y, capital H, and then what? Are we drawing? So what is it going to be? The dash? Are we drawing it in stars or like what is the line?
Just do stars for now. You can play with it later, okay? But so maybe like you did for the point, you can say when you say draw, you also pass it the character to draw with.
Mm-hmm.
So you can play with these things later. Yeah? Does it make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Because you did it, I think you guys did it already for the point. You say, draw takes a parameter for your point and say, draw that character at that point. Yeah?
Yeah, because we worked around, it was Josh's idea to work around the so we don't have to do it twice when we erase the point.
So you can do it like that for this later on too. But now, and then you just send the flush. That basically positions the cursor there. So, left shift flush, enter. Right now you can do the loop from X. Oh, length, from 0 to length, right? Now, you can just get rid of the blank lines. You got the loop already there. Right now, inside, don't say point and point dot draw. Get rid of the thing. Get rid of those two things, and just say C out, left shift, and then star for now. Star. Yeah, okay. You don't need the curly braces either for the for statement. And then when the for loop is finished, you need to send a flush. Otherwise, there's no return. So the star will be there in the buffer. They won't show. So hit enter. Now C out a flush. Or C out dot flush. Yeah. No, but it's not part of the for statement. So it should be, left.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. Now that is it. Now before you run it though, does it make sense to everybody? Well, what we did was just go to that place, that location, and then start printing stars, bam, one after another. It'll automatically move. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now that is your
One more thing on line 80, the semicolon in the middle needs to be a colon.
Oh, is it a colon?
Yeah.
Is it?
Hey, no, Wes, I don't
I'm
think
pretty
so.
sure it's a semicolon.
I'm pretty sure it's semicolon too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's semicolon too.
Run it maybe now.
Yeah, we
I
run
need
it.
to know if it works.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Oh.
Now, how come there's something missing here?
How are we calling it? Are we calling it
Yeah.
right in the main?
Where are you calling it in main? Go, yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, your line is too small. Horizontal line. My point. My point. Oh, it should be 10 characters
We just
long.
declared the line. We don't call it to draw.
Oh my
My
God.
line dot
Oh,
draw.
yeah, okay.
Josh with a big brain saves the day again.
Okay. Good catch. Okay. Open, close, open. Yeah, now run it.
Awesome.
Yay! Okay. All right, okay. So just
Ariana, can you
Right.
please share the code in the chat with the rest of us mortals?
Yeah, no, so, but don't stop here though. Although we're out of time and all, what I was trying to do was now, this is when you do the vertical line, you cannot do this trick. Okay, for a horizontal line, we move the cursor there and then printed a lot of stars one after another. But for the vertical line, you got to do what you guys did before, which is create a new point, put a star there, or move to the new location, put it. Oh, you can do this too, right? Inside the for statement, you're gonna move with C out, left shift, 033, and all of that stuff. That should be inside of the for. So you move and then put a star, move and then star. So you got to do that. You got the vertical line, and then you got to do one more for move the line. Which is basically erase the line and so on and so forth. Play with that, and I'll think of some interesting animations that you can do. But in any case, on Thursday, unless you have any questions or have a demo that you'd like to share in the first 20 minutes, like we did today, right? If you have some interesting things, we'll play with that for the first 5 or 10 minutes. And after that, I'm thinking we'll develop some classes which will have vectors of things, numbers. We'll start on numbers or strings, right? Numbers that we're going to search. So we're going to search the inside of and we'll just do linear search, and we'll come up with some ways in which we can make it more interesting. But it'll be a class containing objects that you're going to search in. Now, we'll only do very trivial and basic search in class, like linear, go one after another, and some interesting variations of that. But binary search is a very interesting way and really quick and efficient and fast way of getting to the thing. We're not going to do that in class, but you have to do that in homework number 7. And that's the reason why we're not doing it in class, okay? Because once you do it once, the cat is out of the bag. It won't be as fun anymore when you do it the second time. So the first time you do it is always the most fun, because you're figuring out and things, and surprises. The first time you do it, you fail and then you fix it, and you will have a surprise. But when after that, it is never so you have to do it on your own. We won't do it in class. We'll just do simple linear search, but it will give you an intuition of what search is all about. How do I do it? How do I, can I speed it up? Can I do it better? All of those things that it'll open up those avenues for search for you. So on Thursday, we'll do the searching techniques, maybe not sorting, but I'll hint at some simple sorting techniques that you can play with on your own. Because sorting is really only covered in CS2C. When you get to CS2C, we'll look at all the different ways of sorting. This sorting is one of the most fundamental and most beautiful ways in which you can learn how, computers, certain things have to be done computationally, right? So things like that. So we'll do sorting. So we'll do that. Next week, I'm thinking, that is week 9, we'll start playing with pointers, okay? Memory addresses and pointers starting next week. That will give us 9, 10, 11, 3 weeks to play with pointers, which means we'll introduce pointers next week. And then after that, we'll play with linked data structures, maybe a linked list, or, implement a stack using a linked list or something like that. And rings and so on, and play with algorithms that deal with linked lists. So already we're going to build a data structure and also play with some algorithms, some ways in which we can play with the data structure, leveraging the way in which it has been built, right? If it is basically linked going from one place to another, is there something that I can do with that I cannot do with an array? That is what we want to focus on. So we'll try, because right now what an array is, all the things you can do with an array and so on and so forth. But there are certain things that are better for a linked list than an array. So we'll focus on those things and see what we can do that for. Okay, it'll be great fun, and I think it is worthy of being taught for 3 weeks instead of the 1 week that we used to have before. We will also cover all the other topics too, but I have a feeling from what you guys are doing in class and what I'm seeing in the question code that you're submitting and all, and that most of you should be able to master all the other stuff that we're leaving out here. on your own from the textbook, just by reading, or from the net, from the, certainly from the homework assignments. But we can go into pointers, because that is actually the core beauty of C++. Okay, and give you true real power, and because you know exactly where everything is in memory and things like that, you'll be able to manipulate things much better. I think so, right? It'll be more fun. Anyway, that's why we want to get to it as soon as possible. Okay, so I'm looking forward to it. But next class also, I think we'll have fun. Okay, I'll think of a nice way to use search techniques together with something that can be gamified like this. I was actually hoping to get to an animation here, but it's probably a stretch goal. That's okay. It's more important that we spend a lot of time just on the basics, going over one, there's many times, many people going over it many times, which I think we succeeded in having today, which will give all of you different perspectives of ways in which we can do things, right? Or maybe, there's just so many places where the prof was wrong, and one of the students corrected and made it better. So all of those are fantastic learning experiences. Fantastic, right? So you won't get, it's very hard to get these things. So you should relish these things, I think, every time you get that. So I'm very happy to see that. Okay, so I'll see you guys on Thursday. Was this class useful anyway? Was this, did you learn something new today?
Yes.
Well, certainly, yeah. Okay, great. Especially the people who are not 100% confident, because some people I know, they work with classes and, certainly bringing a lot of Python experience and all these other things, Java, to bear easier. But certainly if you're doing CS2A for the first time, or, and if you're struggling with objects, we just have to spend more time, that's all, right? And we'll do it now. What better thing to do in a class? Thank you. Thank you all so much. And I will see you on Thursday, okay? All right?
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank
Thank you,
Good night.
Professor. Good night.
Thank you.
yeah, good night. All right. Hey, Alan, you had a question for me? Okay, anyway, see you, bye.